All right, so let's do a quick getting started with Zoom tutorial. So first of all, it's possible to have Zoom sessions with more than 100 people if necessary. It's not the easiest thing to do, but it's possible. Um, and then let's get started. Let's get going. So I'm going to start one of my meetings. And I'm going to join it with computer audio. So I'm live. Let's look at the buttons at the bottom, right? So you can mute and unmute your mic here. Important, especially if people are going to share something. See, I muted myself. It's a very important button when, especially if you're thinking that people are going to share something during the session this way, which if we're doing it with staff, we could consider. But also eventually, if this is what we're going to do with students, definitely want to think about that because bringing student voice in is important. So they need to learn how to mute and unmute themselves. Here we can stop or start the camera. All right, important one to know too, people will turn off the camera for different reasons, right? They're driving, they're doing things, but sometimes with students, it could also be because they don't want to be seen doing something else, right? So one of the few things we're doing really quickly with Zoom is norming around camera on, and when we want the camera on and when it's okay to have the camera off, so that we don't have people faking doing the work. The Manage Participant tab here will show you who is in your Zoom room. If you have set up in the Zoom settings a waiting room, which is very helpful, so I recommend to look that up, then you can let people in your room one at a time. Here, every time somebody shows up, there'll be a little bell ringing, and you can let them in. If the group is not too big, like if it's a classroom size, I tend to let a few people in at a time so I can say hello to them and greet them, and they can realize, oh, this is not a webinar. This is a class. Polling here just allows to do little on-the-spot check for understanding with a question. They can be prepared in advance, or they can just be started live. Share screen button is very important. It's how you're going to share your screen with the people you're presenting to. So if your teachers are going to do Zoom live sessions, then one of the first things they're probably going to think about doing is using their Google Slide materials to turn them into really quickly a presentation. So they would share their screen, and they would click on desktop 1 here, and then they would click on share, and then boom, now you get to see my slide. So if I'm opening a slide deck, and if I go to present mode, then I can teach. My little picture is still showing on the side, but I can show this way content real quick. It's taking a minute to load. There we go. Important to know how to stop the share. There is a red button at the bottom. Click on stop share. And then I can go back to this view, which is helpful to do once in a while because research shows that when your students can see you, they engage better in the lesson. So we don't want to be showing the slides too much. We really once in a while want to come back and take a look at everybody who's in the room, which we'll show on the side here with little windows. Chat, very important to know that bubble is how you access the chat. You can post things in the chat for people, links, notes, but it's also what you should be norming with staff, if it's for staff PD or students, around for where they can drop questions that we can answer, right? So when people will drop questions in the chat, you'll see it. You'll see a little orange thing popping up with a number that'll tell you, oh, you got something in the chat. So when you present something virtually once in a while, I would pause, go look at the chat, and see what people have said there. There is a record button here that allows to record your sessions, which is really encouraged because not everybody's going to be able to attend live, especially kiddos, different reasons. So if you want to make it equitable, record and then later on share that recording with people. Breakout rooms, that's probably more like phase 2, but this is a very transformative function of Zoom that can make a classroom a lot more engaging. It's the way to do group work virtually. So when I click on breakout rooms, here, if I had people, it would tell me assign 10 participants, right? And I could choose to assign them into as many rooms as I want. And what's going to happen, it's going to send them to these separate rooms, Zoom rooms. And in there, they're going to be a smaller group of 5, 4, 3, 2, whatever I decide. And they're going to work there on something I've told them to do before, right? And as the facilitator, you're going to have the ability to go bounce from the different one room to another. And I'll send a tutorial about that and see what people are really doing. You can go and they can ask you questions still, even though you're not in the room. So you can answer the question this way. And then when you close the breakout rooms, that everybody has to come back to you. So it's a very phenomenal feature, and I'll send this separately because I can't show it in this video, but how to do breakout rooms. But at the beginning, probably people won't feel comfortable starting with that. You can assign people automatically and randomly, or you can assign them manually, and then you will see the name of the people, and you can place them in a group based on that. Probably at the beginning, random assignment is going to be the easiest thing to do. Finally, little emoji here to show a reaction during the event. You can clap, you can show a thumbs up. That helps students too. There is also a raise the hand function. I don't think I can show it right now because I'm the only one on the call, but that's a really helpful one to show people because they can draw your attention this way. So that's a getting started with Zoom tutorial. If you end the meeting, you will receive afterwards a video recording if you have chosen to record and upload it to the cloud. It takes a few hours to process. But that's how you get started with Zoom. And then I will share some more stuff for breakout sessions. But let me know if you want more help than that. All right, I hope it was helpful to have this as a starting point.